to red, white, and true. This is a thought-provoking roundtable discussion that focuses on politics, events, and changes in society on both a local and national stage.
I mean, because Trump was, they took that shot at him on the golf course. How do they, and I'm serious about this, the gaslighting that they do is like, oh, it wasn't really an assassination attempt. What was that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, he has a scope and high power rifle. He was waiting in the bushes.
Yeah, it wasn't a surprise party.
You know what I mean? No, It's like, really? I don't get that one.
Yeah.
The problem is if you're a voter who pays attention, it seems to me that it's pretty easy to spot the propaganda.
Absolutely.
The problem is we have all these low information voters.
Well, even if you're a voter that doesn't pay attention, look in your own pocketbook, feel the impact of it, and then hopefully that will motivate you to become a voter that pays more attention, that does the research, that really looks into, am I better off?
But I don't really think it will. I mean, we have time and time again, this happens over and over again. You have a certain amount of people that pay attention, and then most people don't. I mean, I think over half of registered voters will probably vote in this election, but it's not 60%.
Yeah.
Well,
let me say this too. Our problem in supporting Donald Trump is not actually supporting him. It's how do we get people to vote more than Democrats? Because it's easy to go to the coffee shop and say, oh, I support Trump. And it's easy to say, oh, I want to put a yard sign in. And that's great. And we appreciate that support. But what we really want and what we really need is Republicans to go vote. It's one thing to say you support someone. It's one thing to say you have all these problems. But a lot of times we find many people sitting on the sidelines, and Democrats are very good about
motivating their people
to get up and
turn
go out
out
and vote. Yes.
That's right. And it's going to be interesting. I think we made a mistake the last presidential election by saying, let's do it on the day of. And I think that was a mistake. I think we realized that. I think in the RNC and the Mississippi Republican Party and are now pushing everybody, if you can early vote early, bank your vote,
Absolutely.
Put it in early. I think a lot of people, especially maybe in DeSoto County, don't realize that they have the option if they're going to be out of town on election day. And they kind of assume that I have to be on a trip somewhere or anything. But
right.
Michael Watson, our Secretary of State, has said, like, if you're working in Memphis, the law says that you just have to be out of town. It doesn't say you have to be out of town for the whole day.
Hey, I'm one of them. I'm going to be working in Memphis on Election Day, so I'm going to go absentee vote. That way I make sure that my ballot is cast, my vote is cast for Donald Trump.
And more room for somebody on Election Day that hadn't thought about it that could fit in there.
Absolutely, because that's so important. The first step in that whole process is, are you registered to vote? Are you registered to vote?
What's that day?
Our last day for you to register to vote is October 7th.
So that's 7, and today's the 20?
Today's the 20th, actually.
The 20th. Okay, so you have 17 days left to register.
That's right. And mark your calendars, because then if you are registered to vote and you do want to absentee vote, that starts Monday, the 23rd. So mark your calendars, September 23rd. You go down to the Hernando Courthouse.
And start voting.
Start voting. Do not go to your voting polls or precincts. Hernando Courthouse to vote in person.
You have to do the circuit court.
Yes.
Clerk's office.
Absolutely. Bring a valid ID, which every good American should have.
And that's on the second floor of the Hernando Courthouse.
It is.
So also the 24th, Tuesday night at the Hernando Golf and Racquet Club, we have Republican Club meeting, which starts at 6:30.
6:30, yes.
Is the social 30 minutes, and then we start at 7 at the regular program. We have our great agricultural commissioner, Andy Gibson, coming to talk to us.
Great.
Oh, absolutely.
Great speaker.
If you want to get like meat and potatoes, get excited about the coming election, that's the guy you want to hear.
Absolutely. And when you leave, your American spirit. It's just so good. It's a great time with Andy Gibson.
He's a great guy.
He is.
He really is.
He's a lot of fun. I feel so inspired and ready to just wave my American flag and go vote anytime he comes to town.
Get you fired up.
Yes, he really does. And it's just the Republican Club too is such a great opportunity to be among fellow Republicans here in DeSoto County. It's, sometimes as a Republican in this day and age, we turn on social media, we turn on our television, we look at the news, and sometimes it can feel a little bit of being on an island.
Yeah.
You're looking at a lot of stuff. So, and you're like, gosh, am I the only one here? Well, this is a really great opportunity to come out on those Tuesdays every month. The fourth Tuesday of the month, to spend time with other Republicans here from state. But we've had state representatives, we've had Secretary of State, we'll have Commissioner Andy Gibson.
Yeah, we changed it up, this format this year, and it's been really positive. I think we've added about 100 members this year, so we're up to about 183 members. We average, I'd say, in the 70s. Our biggest meeting was 118.
Awesome.
At one meeting, and we've kind of organized it around themes this year and kind of issues,
relevancy of what's been going on.
Yeah, so we had Sheriff Tuggle came in once, and we did about DeSoto County crime. We did one on DEI. We did one on immigration. We've done one on just the state party, and Mike Hurst came in, and we really talked about the dynamics of the RNC and the state party in the upcoming election. And so like this Tuesday, and I'm also, I work in the Republican Club, help put the programs on. This Tuesday, we're going to have more. We passed out 300 voter registration forms last.
Awesome.
Yeah, we ran out. We needed more. So I'm bringing another 400 voter registration cards. So if you're somebody who's not registered or want to register you, your family, your friends, come get your voter registration cards, get those people. We have 17 days left from today to get this done. And then we're also going to have sample ballots. So, there's a different ballot for each supervisor district. So we'll have each of those sample ballots ready to hand out to the club members or anybody that comes. You don't have to be a member to come. You can just be in.
Oh, no, we love guests.
We want you, guests, come,
Absolutely.
please. And free food.
Absolutely.
Free food. You get all the food you want. And I think that's kind of where we're at. And I think it'll be a good time. So
this meeting's really exciting, and we would love to encourage everybody listening. If you haven't been, please come. I mean, it's an opportunity to bring friends. So if you're nervous about going to circuit clerk court's office and looking around the courthouse, it can be a little bit intimidating. This is an opportunity to bring a friend and grab some voter registrations, get a little information. Like I said, to get fired up.
Yeah, and speaking of the circuit court clerk's office, understand this. According to the Secretary of State's office, you have to have a good faith belief that you will be out of town on Election Day. Mm-hmm. So let's just say you're pretty sure that you're planning a trip up to Memphis that day for shopping or something. Yep. That qualifies. Now, if you get to Election Day and you voted early and you don't actually make that trip, as long as you actually thought you did, we're going to do that, you're okay. Yeah. So don't worry about
Absolutely.
it. So if you can bank your vote, we want you to this year.
Absolutely.
Now, don't lie. If you don't think you'll get up there, don't do it. But if you think you possibly will, vote early.
Yeah, why not? I mean, and like you said, John, it provides an opportunity for maybe those that don't get off work early enough to come absentee vote or aren't going out of town.
That's a real problem, especially with traffic.
We saw that last election. It's very tough. And I mean, think about when it's not an election year or election day, traffic is just a pain in general. So this will allow an opportunity to kind of be at ease. You cast your vote. To our college kids, please come home, and cast your vote. So important.
Now, another thing I've heard, several people talk to me, well, this is Mississippi. Trump's going to win Mississippi. I don't really have to vote for Trump to win. Well, let me tell you something. Those vote totals matter when we're trying to get funding out of Jackson for things, or we're trying to get funding out of D.C. because we also are voting for our state representative, our House of Representatives, and for the United States Senate for Senator Wicker. We need all those vote totals out there. It helps us when we deal with them when we're trying to get things for the county. So your vote doesn't just matter as far as the presidential election. It matters in us getting road funding and sewer funding and all this kind of stuff. So there's value in you voting other than just electing Donald Trump president.
It does. And, just it's good practice. I think voting can sometimes
get that good habit going.
It is, and it's kind of like, no one come for me. It's kind of like going to church, right? We have church once a week, Sunday. If you miss that one Sunday, missed one Sunday. Well, now you missed the second Sunday. Well, now you're not going to church.
That's right.
So, yes, the election cycle comes up maybe every 2 years, every 4 years, midterm, stuff like that. So just get in the habit of voting. Keep that habit going. That
so
way,
easy
every
to do.
Election, absolutely. It's not hard.
It's not like they're charging you for showing up.
No, and we have to remember this is an opportunity in this country where in some countries it's a luxury, in others it's an impossibility.
That's true.
We really need to remember that you may not want to get up and vote because, Donald Trump's going to take Mississippi. I don't feel like going. I'm too busy. But remember, there are other places. It's not the same. Not the same. They wish they had the opportunity. They would proudly go vote.
And if our civic religion has anything left to it that binds us together, surely it's voting. Surely it's the one thing that says, okay, majority of people decide this, therefore we're going to do this.
Right.
Respecting the minorities, position as well, but still, this is how we decide things.
Absolutely.
And get over it and we move on.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of this country, right? Everybody can have the option, the choice. It's your voice. It matters. So remember to mark those calendars for these absentee voting days. Start September 23rd. And for our workers that are just Monday through Friday, it's tough to get off. Like you said, the traffic. We've got 2 days, 2 Saturdays actually in person. Go absentee vote October 7th. And where's my second date here? I think it's November. Gosh, dates here.
November 7th is
I think
the election day.
Yeah, I think it's November.
It should be November 4th or something like that.
Something like that.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, wait, here we go. October 26th and November 2nd.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes sense because that's a Saturday, and then Sundays 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the election day.
5th is the election day, yes.
For some reason, I was thinking it was the 7th, but I don't know why.
Right, that's why I was getting all my dates mixed up. So those 2 Saturdays, it's open 8 to noon.
8 to noon,
8
great.
to noon.
Do they have any help at the courthouse for people that might need assistance for early voting?
Absolutely. We're super excited about that this year, or this election cycle. We've got Senior Citizens Week.
Nice.
So we're going to have some assistance. The supervisors have been so gracious enough to to block off some parking spaces right by the courthouse to help some of our senior citizens. That's going to be October 7th to the 11th. And it's for 65 and up.
That's a big deal because, like, my mother is 84 and on a walker, and it's a real challenge for her to try to get into the courthouse.
Yes.
And it's actually a real challenge for her to try to get into regular polling stations. So
we're really excited for this. The executive committee's been helping with this. I think Republican women,
right,
to make sure we're doing everything we can to make sure everybody has the opportunity to cast.
And that's irrespective. I mean, you can be a Democrat, and we're still going to help you to vote.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for. Election day is an American day for
That's
everybody.
right. This has nothing to do with your position.
Yes.
This just has, if you're having trouble, we want to help you vote.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
absolutely right. So who's going to win?
No, it's close. As they say in the press, it's a coin toss for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Now I will say this, it did seem Kamala, she had some real momentum coming out of their convention. And I thought she built a pretty sizable lead. New flavor, right?
Right.
And get that boost from just the novelty of the situation. But it sure has closed with a vengeance. And I would say the momentum right now is with Trump.
Yeah.
It looks like it, at least.
It looks like it. I'd also say, too, a lot of people watch the debate between Trump and Kamala Harris, and I would like to chalk it up more as a curiosity. We hadn't heard from her. She hadn't done a single interview, and a lot of people wanted to hear what her policies were, which if
You didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear a single policy.
She still doesn't talk. I love it. It's the best meme I've ever seen. It's like, tell us how you're going to handle inflation. Well, I come from a middle class family, and everything is I come from a middle class. Well, no offense, she doesn't come from a middle class family. She was raised by the daughter of 2 PhDs who lived in an upper end Canadian neighborhood. I mean, she was raised in a Canadian suburb in a very affluent area. The idea that she was the child of a middle class struggling parents is just a fiction.
Yeah,
it's just complete fiction.
Well, she's trying to be relatable. I mean, and then when she gives these speeches, like, we were all proud of our lawns. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is who we want. Now I want to hear about how you're going to bring down the cost of bacon and make sure I can fill up my gas tank to get to my job.
And, while fuel prices have come down a little bit, the rate of inflation has come down, but inflation is still here.
Yes.
When you look at Trump, when he left office, inflation was less than 1%. They're talking about inflation being under control, but it's still running at 2.5%. That's 2.5 times what Trump had it at.
Well, and let me add this too, John, is we've talked about, I found this very interesting. I saw Dr. Ben Carson on an episode of Tucker Carlson's show. Love him. Great. And I really thought it was fascinating. He said, this is not going to be a battle between 2 candidates about his presidency and her time as vice president. Right. This is really going to be a contest of how strong is the media and how they've portrayed, like you said, saying, oh, inflation's down, is down. Rate is, but inflation is still incredibly high. And that's why it's so important that our voters really pay attention. Don't just read the headline, really dive into this, because it is a battle of the media of how they're painting Donald Trump.
I like to say, I had a talk with a friend of mine who's a longtime Democrat, okay? And he is suffering from a massive case of cognitive dissonance. He was talking about how he always used to think that Republicans were the party of big business, corporations, and that was fundamentally evil. He finally realizes that that's not the case anymore. Now, yeah, you can say Republicans like oil industry and we like certain industries better than other, but he started ticking off technology, finance, Wall Street, media, both news and entertainment media. And he started ticking off all these massive corporations and industries that are in the pocket of the Democratic Party. He saw it. I think he's actually going to vote for Trump because he's like, the Democratic Party doesn't care anything about working men and women anymore. They care about the educated elite. They care about political and economic elites. They care about these massive corporations. They care about the dependent poor because that's how they make themselves feel good.
Absolutely.
About crapping all over. But, the worst president in history, if you're a working man or woman, was Bill Clinton. Because they all talk about what happened to rural America. Because you used to have all these little, take the Delta, for example. You have to, even though mechanization of agriculture put pressure on the Delta, it wasn't until Bill Clinton signed NAFTA.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That every one of those factories shut down and went to Mexico or China and crushed. Our fentanyl epidemic is directly related. Before fentanyl, it was prescription opiates. Before prescription opiates, it was cocaine and crack. And all of that got supercharged in rural America by Bill Clinton draining the middle-class manufacturing jobs out of rural America. And now they are directly responsible for killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens because of hopelessness.
Well, and that's the thing, too, you have to remember is that this is not just we're not talking about 4 years. These decisions that are made, to your point, by these presidents they have repercussions many
decades.
Yes. And so it's so important. This is not a how will I get through today or even 4 years. It is well past 4 years.
I mean, you look at Barack Obama spent his whole administration for 8 years blaming George Bush. And Biden has spent his 4 years blaming Donald Trump for all the problems. And Kamala Harris says, we're going to fix this by change. Her party has been in power for 12 of the last 16 years, right?
Right.
Change what? I mean, you're the problem.
Well, she wasn't descriptive in how she was going to change it. She didn't say it was for the better. She did promise. She kept her promise.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for the better.
But I mean, what if you're just want the average American to have a better life? Donald Trump's the only choice.
You can't argue that. You can't argue that across the board. If you want a better life, or if you want your neighbor to have a better life, or your children to have a better life.
And it's not the person that you're voting for, it's the policies he represents.
Absolutely. People need to get past, even some Republicans need to get past, well, I don't want to vote for him because I don't like his personality.
Well, I will say this. I think a lot of those Republicans are just a grift. They see there's money in them Dar Hills, but I can go and say I'm a Republican that's against Donald Trump and I get funded by a bunch of Democratic NGOs and, not profits that can all of a sudden I'm getting bankrolled.
Right.
I think there's a lot of that going on.
Yes, but we need, especially this election, we need Republicans to outvote Democrats. We know you're out there.
By a big margin.
Yes.
We need to make it where the legal ballot stuffing cannot overcome.
Agreed. Absolutely.
We have to make it so big that that not only can we get the president of our choice, but we need to take the Senate and the House so that we can make some fundamental changes to the structure of this country so that the citizens of this country are no longer disadvantaged going forward.
Right. Absolutely. I need all my MAGAs. I need my Republicans. I need my Tea Partiers. I mean, if you even want to go as far back as the Bull Moose Party, I don't care. Just come vote and vote in the masses to make sure that there's no question, undeniably, that he wins the election.
So my question will be, are we going to have... I actually think right now it's trending towards Trump. I think the polls are trending there. It's so close right now, polling wise. I think if the election was held tomorrow, based on what I saw, Trump will win with 302 electoral votes and probably lose the popular vote very slightly, but only because I think you get so much ballot stuffing in places like Connecticut, New York, and Pennsylvania, California.
Oh, yeah.
Those blue states that have heavy populations that are, allowing illegals to kind of slip through the cracks and vote. And I think, plus, then you can start fixing the structural problems like quit allowing illegal aliens to be accounted in the apportionment.
Right.
Right there, red states pick up 21 seats in the House of Representatives and 21 more electoral college votes. And then the structural difference on the then Democrats can't hardly win an election. The only way Democrats are winning election is because they cheat. Now, they're doing it legal. I'm not saying that it's illegal.
Oh, sure.
But I'm saying they cheat.
Right. Well, they figured out. And that's what we need to do. We need to be on our toes. We need to keep an eye out. If we see something, don't worry about upsetting someone because you're asking a question. Hey, this looks kind of funny to me. Sometimes we run into that problem where I might hear other Republicans where it's like, I don't want to upset anyone. No, upset them.
That's okay.
Upset them. They'll be okay. But if you think there's something going on, protect the ballots, protect your votes. And that's the best thing you can do. Don't be afraid.
And so let's talk about another thing as far as getting out the vote. So the Republican Club, in conjunction with the Executive Committee, Republican Women, College Republicans, Board of Supervisors, and some other organizations, we're having a big Get Out the Vote rally on October 28th.
Mark your calendars.
That's a Monday night at Snowden Grove.
Love that.
Yeah, great. Right in the middle of the county. Great place.
Perfect.
We're going to have music. We're having live bands. We're having live barbecue. It's all free. Nobody has to pay anything. You just come. We've got a couple of statewide elected officials. We're trying to nail down the final two to come and really get everybody excited for the next week. You can pick up your Donald Trump memorabilia. You can come and get excited to get ready to get everybody. We're expecting 500 to 1,000 people there.
That's awesome.
And we want everybody to come out and get excited to go out and get Republican candidates across the board elected to office, including, hopefully, President Donald J. Trump.
I love it, John. It's a great night. Patriotic Heart is so excited for that. I love it. I love being amongst other DeSoto Countyans that are just as excited to elect Donald Trump as president. And like you said, our local candidates too. So
yeah, because you got to remember, it's not just Trump on the ballot. We need to get Senator Wicker reelected. We need to get Congressman Kelly reelected. I mean, it's vital. We cannot. Control of the Senate is just as vital as
absolutely
the presidency.
Absolutely.
And we've got to expand our control in the Senate. We have to expand our control in the House, and we need to take control of the Senate. And we have a very good opportunity to do that, but we cannot allow an upset in Mississippi.
No, and that's why things like that, the club, going to Republican Club Night and going to the rally, friends, I want to challenge everybody listening. Bring your neighbor, bring family, your kids.
Right.
Really, seriously, don't think about it. Just do it. This is so important to share this. So I encourage everybody to grab somebody, at least one person.
That's right.
Spread the word, celebrate, get excited. More importantly, go vote.
Yeah. So anything else we need to talk about today? Well, we sure wrapped it up, didn't we? Yeah. So we're going to try to do one more podcast before the election. And I'm hoping to do it like week before. It'd be nice. Maybe we could do a live one from Snowden Grove.
Gosh.
Wouldn't that be a lot? Wouldn't that be a hoot?
That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be a hoot.
That'd be pretty fun.
So we may try. So we're going to figure it out and see what we can do. And hopefully, thank you, Katie, for researching all that. That's a wealth of information. That's wonderful.
I love it. I'm excited for it, John. Like I said, I know our DeSoto County Republican Executive Committee is very dedicated to ensuring that a lot of people get the information to know and understand that they have multiple opportunities to vote. It does not have to be on Election Day. If
That's
you're
right.
busy, there are all these other avenues and outlets for you to be able to get your vote in.
That's wonderful. Thank you. We really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll talk to you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for watching Red, White, and True. We hope you enjoyed our thought-provoking discussion. You can find our podcast distributed on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and X. Please visit DeSotoGOP.org to watch more episodes and to learn more ways to be involved with the DeSoto County Republican Party. Because remember, your vote and your voice matter.